How you doing, family? This lecture is going to be based on the continuing theme with the mantra and the principle of to know truth is to live truth. To know truth is to live truth. To know truth is to live truth. So I'm going to start this lecture or this video on focusing on a lot more details of the things that I covered in the previous video. One of the most important things I want to continue to draw and keep you focused on, and this is something that I have not seen, I can't say anywhere in all of my training and readings and research on my path to finding tools, gathering tools, and gathering weapons in this war against white supremacy and the concept of the mental deranged structure that is system of white supremacy, the false mythological belief that is built on and has a whole system is created around that sickness. And the world, especially in the United States of America, India, some parts of South, Eastern, and Western Europe, the Nordics, Canada, Norwegians, the Nordics basically, for some reason, they were able not to be infected by this illness, this mental illness. Greta, the young lady who is involved with the green movement right now, the young lady, she's from that area. And see, they have a whole different holistic mindset, and they're more mentally balanced, even though they are demyelinated or albanized black people. But they have not, for some reason, they were able to retain the balance between left side and right side brain, so that their sense of value for life has not been warped by the ice. Their heritage in the ice. Maybe they were the first ones to come out, and they didn't come all the way down south, and the last ones did. Whatever, we never mind all that. But the point is, it has created a system where me as a black person, I have to make sure that whatever I have learned in this lifetime here, for my next generation, the baton that I must pass on to them has to come with a weaponization of knowledge that will free them from buying into this mental illness, and to arm them with the weaponry they need, which is knowledge on how to neutralize the sickness and the onslaught that's going to, if they have not already felt it, they may not even be aware that they're impacted by it. But my job is to show them what it can do. And in order for me to do that, I have to go to my sisters and brothers who are to my left and to my right and in behind me, and who have been in front of me, and above me and below me on all directions there are warriors, scholars, okay, people, white and black. I can point you to Tim Wise as a white one, and there's a couple other white females that are on the front line and have been on the front line of trying to defeat this mental illness, this virus that is really contaminating all human beings. The fact that we allow it to be dominant in the world, it infects everybody and diminishes our humanity by its very existence. And it is pure, unbridled ignorance with money. Ignorance with a big megaphone makes it still is just loud ignorance. We used to call it strong and wrong, loud and stupid, you know. So to combat that, what I want to do, and the reason why I wrote my book, is to combat that and overcome that. And that focuses primarily on a protection mechanism or system of protection that I have created for people of color who are being attacked and victimized by this mental illness. The other thing is, even more importantly than that, that is actually a, what's the word? It's almost like a secondary thing that I'm of ignorant level of ignorance that I'm trying to overcome. That when I talk about, I mentioned in my last movie a kabuki doll and a kabuki doll. It's a kabuki doll concept, and if you don't know what a kabuki doll is, kabuki dolls is there'll be one small little kabuki doll in the middle, and then there's a bigger one on top of that, and there's a bigger one on top of that, and every time you open it up, there's another doll inside. Well, it's the same kind of layered attack that has been built over hundreds of years, not thousands, but hundreds, because thousands of years ago this madness didn't exist. So to explain that, I have to get you to understand that the white supremacist mind game mental illness that has been superimposed by flesh vehicle, by form. Form is ignorant, dumb, brute. That is what has been running society, and that's because of this is where we are as human beings. The flesh is still brutal, crude, and unrefined. And we're in the process of cleaning that up and improving and being better, or creating better usable flesh forms. So part of the evolutionary process, we're now at the stage where we're ready to eliminate foolishness and a lot of the mental illness that has come as a process of the evolutionary process. Okay, this concept of some stupid racial game and different races has been all made up. Okay, so that affects all people, but the attack is focused on a victim. In order for that system to work, they must have a victim. And in this case, the victim that has been targeted is the elders, the quote-unquote ethnicity of the oldest humans on the earth. The newest humans that crawled out of the caves now is attacking the older humans, because that's what they do. Negativity always seeks positivity. That's just the way energy flows, okay? And so their attack is to lie, cover up, miseducate, deceive, and confuse everybody, so that they may appear to be better than somebody else. but they're so young and dumb, they just think that that's what they're getting, but they're not getting that. You can't be better than yourself. There is only one God manifesting as different physical forms, but it's all the same source. Their brains and their minds are too warped and off balance for them to comprehend that. So what we have to do is we have to educate the masses of the people to the truth, so that when they do crawl out from underneath one of these rocks and come out with that stupidity, the masses of the people will say, excuse me, are you kidding? You don't know? And then they will realize, oh, it's not going to work. I'll crawl back under my rock, come up with a new scheme, and while they're doing that, we're growing even more enlightened. More wisdom is being passed on. So eventually, they will be suppressed to the point where they will have to morph into a better person in order just to exist. That's the evolutionary process. Certain dumber things, as we evolve into better people, better versions of people, dumber things and deadness, dead scales fall away, and the fresh skin and the fresh new sprouts will come forth. And that's just the nature of evolution. You can see it in trees, you can see it in a lot of the evolution of even total species. This is how it works. And this is part of our journey. And that's why time has been created, so that we can enjoy things, but you can't enjoy it until you understand what's going on. And that's why I wrote my book, The Anatomy of Existence and the Power of Belief. Two totally different subjects altogether. And that's what I want to focus on in this video. And I haven't really articulated that clearly enough. Every time I do these videos, I review it 2 or 3 times to see, am I making the points thoroughly, so that you get the best information and I get right to the point. I'm not gonna bog you down in a whole bunch of watching me meditate, because that's work that you have to do on your own. But I want you to see how it's done. As far as I'm concerned, I'm talking to a 12 or 13-year-old, and I want you to know what you must do. You must meditate. You must disconnect from this physical form and bond with your essential self. You must do that, because that's where all your ideas and all your intuitive insights and wisdom is coming through. You don't have to go to nobody to get it. You can refer, and I'm going to show you sources of information where you can also get guidance, but the guidance is always leading you back. It's always within. Within is the work you're doing by utilization of the human mind. But the essential microcosmic being is using this mind and directing and steering this mind to produce the thoughts that you want when you want it. All the control, everything has been given to you, and you can't give it away. What you have to do is you have to allow somebody to take control over your stuff, over your mind. And that comes from you sitting back, watching TV, letting somebody spoon feed you crap from the TV. And when you do that, you don't even realize you become a prisoner in your own body, because you're not driving. You're not in charge. And I'm not going to allow you to do that. I want you to feel the joy, the freedom, the power, and the strength that comes from the freedom and the ability to control everything in your environment. starting right here and here. Use this power source here to control everything out here. And that's what I'm going to make you. Basically, they call it to become a Jedi. That's what the concept of a Jedi or a master is. Master of what? Master of self first, the vehicle, and then the environment outside of the vehicle. This is your interface to this plane, the physical three-dimensional plane. The first dimension is in here, which is your ability to visualize, your ability to create dreams. Not just, you will have some intuitive information coming to you in the form of some other pictures or dreams, images. That's coming from your essential self, which is God itself. And God has basically a hammer. And that hammer is called, I call the subconscious mind, which is still God. But it's the creative side of God that you control directly. People say, oh, well, God is in charge. No. You got to understand, God set all this up. And in the setting up of that, God designated responsibilities. And when God did this, God did it one time. Now God is sitting back, living through you, looking back at itself. Because I want you to, I'm going to briefly say this, and I almost don't want to do it because it's, it's something that you just need to be aware of, but it's something that you don't need to focus on because it's already done. It's over. Okay, but you need to know what happened. My theory, my concept is, before the Big Bang, before there was light, before there was nothing, there was just blackness. Everywhere, all the time, everywhere. Nothing existed. And everything that was you, God. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. And my concept is, God said, okay, this is boring. I want something to do. So God had a thought. And that thought is codified in what they call, some people call it pi. Some people call it the Big Bang. The mathematical formula for that thought is codified in the formula, mathematical formula of pi. And they say, I heard this in the movie, and I didn't believe it until I thought about it and meditated on it. And I realized, yeah, he's right. And that pi was the Big Bang. And there's another African brother who created G I J to the so there's a whole formula. I'll put it on the side in this movie. That recently, brother in Nigeria, in Africa, of course, gave us the newer version of pi. But originally it was pi. And they say in the formulation of pi, that number, that point dot whatever, every number somewhere in the endless, because those numbers that after that are endless, and in that endless form of numbers is everybody's birthday, everything that has ever happened. This is what the character in the movie Persons of Interest, who created a machine that oversees and knows and sees everything. Okay, and he was teaching the class, and he said that pi, within the exponential forms or numbers that follow after, I think it's 3.14, and then after that there's a whole bunch of other numbers, and those numbers, within those numbers is supposed to be everything that has ever been created or existed. And I said, well, there's only one time that has ever happened, and that is the Big Bang. Okay, so that's my concept. Okay, so that means whatever has been put into motion is still in motion. So in that process, what God did was assign all of the creating of things, the manipulation of mass in the form of physics, quantum physics, which is the process of manipulating mass into form from thought. There is belief, and that belief triggers a electromagnetic gravitational manipulation of chemicals, mass, into forms. That's the easiest way I can say it. The governing and directing of that process is in you. God has assigned that to you. Whatever you believe and repeat, not just one time, that don't work. Twice don't work either. 3, 4 don't work either. There's a whole cyclical process that is based on a cycle. And you have to do that kind of repeating of thought big time, thousands of times. But the key amperage that makes the machine get to work is whatever you believe, through and through, without any doubt at all. Once the machine gets that signal, it gets to work. Now, whether that signal that you're giving the machine is good or bad, that machine gonna bring that into manifestation. Because, and I'd say this to people, you gotta understand, all the caring and the compassion and the love and the, the feelings that come and that exist in all of existence, God assigned that to you. God don't feel. The only feeling God gets is whatever feeling you get. You gotta understand that. God's too big. The totality is too big to feel or even have another thought. Too big. All you gotta do is think one time and then sit back and just watch. And that watcher is you. You gotta understand this. And I know it's so simple, it's scary. And people think, oh, this brother gotta be crazy. Well, that's okay. I'm willing to endure your ridicule. See, because what you haven't figured out yet is what I already know. And I don't have no doubt about it. And it's not based on some dream I had. It's based on 45 years of reading. You don't even want to know. Hundreds of people meditating for thousands of hours. You have to do this work to get where I am and have the level of confidence that I have. And all I can tell you is when you get there, you'll know a sense of freedom, power, and joy. Because once you remove fear, once you remove doubt, the only thing left is joy, happiness, and a heavenly lifestyle, which is what I have been living for 45 years. Has it been a straight line? No. Ups, downs, challenges, overcome challenges. Realize I'm still here. That's the biggest thing I got to give black people in America. All the horrible, filthy things that these filthy, dehumanized, demelanized mutates have done to us and all our ancestors speaks volumes to the fact that we absolutely are the first people. Not better, just first. That's a fact. That's just historical fact. Now, their flesh is going to want to go into a whole ego big head game. Oh, I'm first, I'm better than. No, you're not listening. There is only one God and one human race. Don't fall into the dark side by thinking you're better. Better leads to the dark side. And a whole sequence of stupid, wrong-sided, imbalanced thinking. See, you have to control everything all the time. Are you going to be able to do it every 20? No, because the human form that you are trying to extrude and express yourself through is going to filter out perfection and dumb it down. And that's what we wanted. It's very difficult to get you to understand that. But that's what we wanted. And that creates the journey, overcoming and dealing with challenges that will never stop. Because remember, who put this into motion? God. When God does something, it's forever. Now, it'll come in different forms and everything, but understand, this is what makes the journey fun. Really. Because you can't die. So only thing it can be is just fun. You have to allow you set this up because you want to actually get yourself to believe. For you want to feel the terror. You want to feel the stress, and because you want to feel something. Because if you're perfect, you don't feel nothing. That's why I tell you, God don't care. Because God is perfect. The subconscious machine that's creating all this stuff, it don't care. Don't care. You gotta, not that it can't care. Doesn't have the capacity to care. It gave the capacity to care. There's only one entity in existence other than the animals, and the animals don't really care. Every once in a while, one will demonstrate a level of compassion that's beyond its instinctive nature. And see, they're evolving. You don't know what they'll become, because the same infinite energy that's flowing through this human being is flowing through that tiger, that lion, which is an animal being of another type, tiger being. We're human beings. That's a tiger being, a lion being, a seal being, a dolphin being. There's always being behind anything and everything in existence. God is everywhere, all the time, at the same time. You got to get your head around this. And once you do, chest out, head up, shoulders back. I'm God, and I know it. Now it's just about me utilizing all of the tools and the weapons that I have to overcome every challenge in existence. And that's why the challenges are going to keep coming, so you can overcome them. And that creates life. And as soon as this coronavirus is over, there's going to be another one. Because it can't stop, because then the ride will stop. And God don't do one off. God do eternal stuff. Everything God do is eternal. Never ends. Okay? So now, I want to get back on focus on what I want to talk about in this, oh boy, 8.5 hours already. I want to keep you laser focused on these two things. There is the anatomy of existence, which focuses on the Big Bang, God's one thought, your eternal infinite powers and authority that was given to you at birth, and how to meditate, bond, and identify with your essence, and know the difference between the flesh vehicle and the essential spiritual being that you are, riding and expressing itself through this flesh vehicle, having a human experience, as Professor Kaba has said. Okay, that's what the anatomy piece is about, and that is a entire lifetime, endless, because of the millions of years of evolutionary process that we have gone through. It has been recorded on all kinds of different through different cultures and human existence. It has been recorded and has been taught and passed from one human to the next human. Okay, that side has been that's a whole side that you must have. To balance that off, you have to not only have the spiritual component, you have to know, understand how to use that spiritual awareness and extrude through this physical being and use thoughts, visions, and beliefs and feelings to manipulate and create everything that you see out here in this existence. And the manipulation of that through beliefs means that people will get ideas, and those ideas will come to aid you in whatever it is you see yourself having. You will attract those people, that fortune, that luck. You will attract that to you because the machine is moving all sources to manifest what you have given it in as an order to produce. God assigned that to you. That's why I explain why you have this authority with the anatomy of existence side. So what are you going to do with that knowledge and that information? You have to practice building the metaphysical muscles to do what you want to do. That's what God sent you here to do, is create stuff. Imagine and dream up stuff. Be successful. Be healthy. Live a full and fruitful life filled with joy and happiness, prosperity and health. That's what you are here to do, to experience life, because that's the only way God can. And indirectly what you're doing, directly what you're doing, is you are God looking at itself, where it was never able to do it before. In both Neville Goddard talks about it, John Hagelin makes a statement about it, Eckhart Tolle makes a statement about it, and you go on down through Hermes Magistus, Jesus Christ, and on down through, like I said, the humans before me, the humans on whose shoulders I stand on, the ancestors. They have all said the same thing. God is having a human experience, and it has assigned all of the great things that have happened and will happen to you, to other human beings. That's what the whole ride is about. This is the journey. And the journey is comprised of others, brothers and sisters, all endowed with special, unique gifts to add to the team. And the team is all living life to their fullest. It's not about a competition. If you want to do competition, knowing that you're not really competing against anybody, you're just merely sharpening your skills. And the way you sharpen skills is by overcoming challenges. And so what we've decided to do is challenge each other. Okay, see, if you're in that mindset when you're doing it, that's a different mindset. That's a holistic mindset. That's a healthy, competitive mindset. Because at the end of that competition, there is an embrace of yourself in others. Because the other helped you to be better. The goal is to be better. Evolution means to change. Change in what direction? Better. That's what the whole ride is about. Okay? So what I want to do is draw that distinction, and that you understand clearly. Your day-to-day life has got to be a percentage of bonding and reminding and growing your awareness of yourself as God living through this flesh vehicle, having a human experience. You have to be reminded about that. It's a process. And as you're going through your day, keeping your mind focused, mastering this vehicle, and part of that training, you have to train this vehicle, because this vehicle is just like a glove or a shoe. You have to train it, or a dog or a pet. but you're wearing this pad. It's a car. It's something you have to train it to do what you want it to do. And if you don't, the automatic intelligence is waiting for a chance because it wants to exist too. It has a purpose and it fulfills its purpose brutally without any thinking or compassion or concern about you, the spirit. That's not what it's here for. It's not here to care what you think, spirit. Your spirit, you're the one in charge. You're the one to do all the caring. You're the one to do all the controlling. You got to understand, you're God. God assigned that to you. So you got to take charge. That's how it goes. And if you don't, your life will be very challenging, very uncomfortable. And the discomfort will force you to realize something is wrong. And something needs to be fixed. Okay, so I want to focus more of this on the the law of attraction. The anatomy of existence is codified in the realization that you are God. Eckhart Tolle is one of the major teachers who gets you into the perspective and helped me have the vocabulary to articulate to you that there's a difference between identifying with your essential spiritual self and identifying with thought, mind, and the vehicle, and the thoughts and mind games that the vehicle trigger in the absence of control by the essential spirit. See? And meditation is the gym that you go to in order to build muscles. And it's a very easy muscle to develop because what you really have to do is not think and not identify with thoughts. Pull back and be God, which is the watcher. God don't move. Don't have to move. You're everywhere all the time at the same time. Don't have to move. All you have to do is just stand still and just be. You have to do that until you understand that's what you are. And every time you do that, you will be empowered with more skills and ability to control everything in your existence because that's your power source. It is perfect. It is unlimited power. Now, your whole life is about validating this point. And part of that validation comes from you doing your meditations, then leaving your meditation, getting up off your backside, and now looking at those thoughts and saying, don't struggle with the thought. You say, the thoughts you don't want, you ignore. The thoughts you want, you focus on like a laser. And while you're doing that, two things can't exist at the same time because you're God. So if you're focused on the thoughts you want, the other thoughts just waste away. The more you do that, the other thoughts you say, oh hell, forget it. Flesh you say, okay, he ain't giving no quarter. She ain't giving no quarter. She's overwhelming the mind space with her own thoughts. So therefore, I can't even get a word in edgewise. You gotta understand, once you do that, that's exactly what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, your flesh vehicle is going to come under total control. You'll feel better. All the feelings and everything that happens is either you controlling it or the flesh is controlling it. And there will always be an interplay between the two. I don't think that at any point you will be able to totally dominate the flesh vehicle because then that would kill the ride. See, there's always going to be some element, some pressure coming at you, waiting for you to drop the ball because it wants to exist too. Don't you think it's fair? I do. To me, it's perfectly logical, and reasonable that everything wants to exist. Why? Because this is where the fun is. This is where the action is, baby. You got to understand that. That's another thing. It too doesn't want to be perfection and dead and not exist. There's nothing going on over there. Everything that's going on is happening right here. You got to understand that. So that's the motivating driving force of everything in existence. It wants to live. It wants to experience life. And to imagine now, understanding that reality, that God has given you the ultimate power to control all of this. And the fact that you don't know that is you set that up too. So you have to rediscover it with each lifetime. And see, what I want to do is I want to minimize the dumbness in the DS. Even more probably call it the dumb shit. We got to minimize the dumb shit and maximize the intelligence and the wisdom so that the world can move to this next level. And I mentioned in the other video that this is the age of Aquarian. Okay, and in the age of Aquarian, it's also known as the age of enlightenment. And this is when we are now aware that we are God having a human experience. And because of that awareness and that realization, we now understand our purpose and our powers and our abilities. Okay, now there are going to be hundreds of millions of people that are not going to understand this. And that is beautiful. That means we got a long way to go. We got an even longer ride because we want to stretch this ride out. See? I'm 60 something years old. I got about another 20 years if all goes well. I continue to eat right, go to the gym and work out, exercise, do my meditations, make good decisions, stay in control of what's going on here, enjoy my personal work that I do in the green movement with electrification and the use of electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles. And I'm a mechanic by trade, so my flesh vehicle, that's my purpose. Okay, and that's another thing I want to talk about in dealing with this use of the law of attraction to get what you want. Everything that in this physical plane, I was put here as a black man. My skin tone is dark, and so everybody sees me as a black man. Okay, which is cool. But I'm doing it with the reality and the full knowledge that there is no such thing as race. But you have to acknowledge the structure that is in place. Lions are lions, tigers are tigers, dolphins are dolphins, whales are whales, flies are flies, viruses are viruses. Black man is black man. In America, African American, well, I'm an African. Okay, and that comes with realities. And I'm proud of that. I ain't cutting no corners for nobody. And you got to understand that. Now, I'm not talking about better. I'm talking about proud. Now, I'm not going to look away because I'm the first human. And I know that inside and out. And you see, I can't look away. See, because if I don't take charge and be responsible and do what I got to do, this whole world go to hell. As far as I'm concerned, that's my job. And who gave me this job? We did. God. And let me tell you something. I don't know about nobody else, but if I'm given a task by an authority and I actually have the opportunity to control decency in the world, once you get to know me, oh, baby, I don't ever give up. And I don't ever take no shorts. I have to be calmed down. Okay, I'll thank you. I'll cut them some slack. Because me, I'm proud of God. I'm so proud. I feel so blessed, so honored to be privileged to be blessed with this awareness and knowledge at my age, to be free, joyful, and happy, not afraid of dying ever, knowing that what's going to happen in my next life already, knowing I even have the possibility of visualizing what I want. See? That's called being empowered with knowledge. That's what I want to give you. Okay? But in order to use the law of attraction, you have to have a clear mind. You have to have a clear understanding of how to let go of the dysfunction and all of the psycho babble and nonsense that may have been put on you. Now, I'm one of these blessed humans. I have never been raped, molested, or anything like that. But my ability that I was born with is this insatiable, tenacious, protective characteristic that I was born with to protect young people and protect the defenseless people and teach people how to defend themselves, both psychologically, spiritually, and physically. You have got to do it on all three levels. And in order to do that, you have to have a solid economic base from which to work. So you need a whole economic component to your war chest that allows you to move through this life with authority and power and a clear message to the world. Take no shorts, and you better come correct. Because if I even hint or think that you are the enemy, see, I'm not like a lot of people. Take a head first and find out later what they meant. That's my motto. And let everybody know, when you come to this guy here, you better come correct. Come correct. Because I'm not taking no prisoners. If I got to go, I'm taking 2-3 with me. Put the fear of God in the rest of them. Because that filthy thing in DC and his followers, oh, you bet not. You bet not show some compassion or some doubt or try to be nice. They see that as absolute total weakness, and they will not hesitate to lop off your head because they don't have compassion in them. You got to put it in them by lopping off one of their heads and let them see it roll down the street. That will make them stop and think. And if you think anything else, you don't understand what war and what environment you are into. So in order to accomplish that, part of, my new latest reading is Professor Kaba Hiawatha Kamene wrote this book, and this is the book I'm reading now. I just started reading this book. Beautiful brother. He's he was actually sitting next to me in on 145th Street and Convent Avenue with Dr. Jeffries and Professor James Smalls and the whole cadre of alumni from City College in the African Studies Department. When I we used to go there, part of our reading assignment and things that we had that they would talk about came out of these two books, in the beginning, and then at the very end we had the coup de grace, which was the civilization and barbarism by Sheikh Anta Diop. But these are the destruction of African civilization by Chancellor Williams was my core, the one of the first readings that really awakened me to what was going on, to this the myth of white supremacy and the destruction of black civilization because of the mutated black people that came out of the caves, and John G. Jackson took that and put more meat on that bone, on those set of bones, okay? And then Sheikh Anta Diop, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, is the Dr. Jeffries dedicated for all of us, and he is to be honored. And Sheikh Anta Diop is to be honored, and his father before him is to be honored, because they all gave up their lives and dedicated their entire lives to creating this book for us, African Americans, to help us overcome and understand why the mutates are doing and have done what they did. And this exposes all the lies that they have been trying to perpetuate. And that's why you will never see this book in a curriculum in a school. And you know what? As an African American and a black human being on this planet that is under the assault of the mutates, you're not supposed to give you this. You're supposed to do this for yourself. That's how you get strong. You don't let nobody, and that's another thing I want to talk to you about. Everything that has to do with your liberation of your mind and your spirit is about you taking charge of defining everything in your world for yourself. Use your judgment. That's why God gave it to us. Judgment only gets stronger through practice. Okay? And you got to understand that. You. Nobody else. When something goes wrong, you know who's going to pay? And I've said this in my other movies. You. If you're 12, 15, get in the habit of being responsible for everything you do. Because if anything goes wrong, you're going to pay. You're going to feel it. Nobody can feel for you. That's why God gave you the responsibility to manipulate and control everything in your life. Because everything that goes wrong, it's going to fall on you like a ton of bricks. You got to understand that. So that means defining your reality. Take that Christian Bible and that Muslim, whatever those things are, that book they got, throw all that stuff in the garbage. Pick you up this book here, learn what has happened and how they destroyed your people and civilization, the civilization that they have adopted. Everything they got from us. You got to understand that. And if they stole it from you, that means you must be the best. Otherwise, why would they take it from you? Take your name off it and put their name on it. Okay? Get you a copy of Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, where she will teach you, and she has brought together the teachings of Neville Goddard, of Eckhart, my brother over here, Charles Hannell, who was teaching the law of attraction back in 1946 when he died. Neville Goddard died in 1962, and he was teaching the law of attraction. Now Rhonda Byrne has done it. I read her book, The Secret, 10 years ago. 1990. Read it. And been living and practicing it all through my life, putting it into practice. Now, I wasn't one of these people who have been raped and have all of these subliminal nonsense coming at me, but my father. So I genetically inherited some crap from my father and probably some stuff from my mother. My mother, as far as I know, has never been raped or anything like that. But I've inherited her stuff in this flesh vehicle here. And in order to cleanse yourself of that and the impact of that through bad diet and whatever, okay, you have to understand, you got to clean all that out. Dianetics has a beautiful system of cleaning all that out. Now, there are a lot of people who will give you the analysis of what has happened to you, but you need to be working on cleaning it out. It's good to know all the traumatic things and how they have developed and how we came to be as jacked up mentally and socially as we have. But the most important thing is, how do you clean it out and get rid of it? That's what Dianetics teaches. There is a sister who, Brother Philippe Matthews, who introduced me to Brother Kaba, you know, by me stumbling on to his YouTube videos, that he is bringing all of these geniuses and all of this wisdom together from an African perspective. Okay? And there is a bunch of psychologists and people like brothers Jeremiah Camara, brilliant brother, teaches you how to throw that Bible out. He's went through the seminary colleges and seen the jive and the con that they teach the pastors. And he's gone through it, and he'll tell you to read his books. He did 2 brilliant books. One is the okay. Okay, let me give it to you straight from the horse. His book is The Doubting Thomas by Brother Jeremiah. I love his name, Jeremiah Camara, and that last name, I just love the sound of his name. It's a beautiful name. And then you have another brother, Tommy Curry, Dr. Tommy Curry, brilliant brother, on the level of the sister, the doctor who did the melanin concept. I can't think of her name right now, but brilliant. She's been on Donahue's show and the whole nine. I'll put her book up on the side here, one side or another. Okay. And I feel bad because really, I must remember her name because she was so pivotal long before anybody else. Can't think of it right now. It'll come to me. Okay. But this brother, Tommy Curry, is on the same level as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, who did the melanin concept. Now, all of these scholars and geniuses and what I call great thinkers are merely giving us the information that we need to have a clear analysis of how we came to be. Some of us, I happen to be blessed not to be in that, but I see it in my nephews who grew up in a crack house, and my nieces and that grew up in crack houses, and they're trying to find their way. And my job is just to be a beacon of solidness, so that when they're ready to listen, they'll have a clear, and I wrote this book for them, so that they'll have a clear understanding of what power they already have in themselves. They just have to build the confidence and the muscle to use the power they already have. And the only thing I got to get them to do is change their minds. That's the goal of my book, The Anatomy of Existence and the Power of Belief, which I love, brother Jeremiah Camara. I relate very closely to him and Brother Kaba. For some reason, I'm spiritually, I just met Brother Jeremiah Camara, and it's when I heard him speak and I listened to him, it reminded me of myself when I was in the church with my son's mom, 7 years in there, watching everybody speaking in tongues and doing all kinds of stuff and jumping around, and I'm looking at them and thinking like, well, how come I'm not getting this? I'm not buying this. And I tried to shake it off and tried to go along to get along. And no matter how much I did it, I couldn't bond. I couldn't identify with that. It seemed like a con job. It just did. Every aspect of it, everywhere I looked, I saw contradictions and confidence games. And I said, this is not working. And so that's what led me to fall back on what I was taught through African and spiritual culture and African history. Knew something was wrong. Okay? Right? And this brother, Jeremiah Kamara, he's on it. And he's like me. I'm telling people, and I tell people, I'm writing this book, and I'm basically going to give this book away. I'm just going to charge enough to what it cost me to have it printed. You know, because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in having people do something for me for nothing. I believe in paying my way. Ain't nothing in life is free. You don't get no free rides. Stop that. You want to have garbage collected, you got to pay taxes. You want decent police, real police, not these things we got out here masquerading as police officers. They ain't nothing but Ku Klux Klan in uniforms. Then get rid of them damn white cops. If you don't live in the neighborhood, you can't be a police officer. And until they put that in place, we're going to always have these mentally ill, mutated black people running around thinking they're doing something. They ain't doing a damn thing. They're not doing nothing but enjoying killing. And I already told people, these mutated black people, they like killing more than they like having sex. And you will see that in everything they do. The corrupt ones. Not all of them are that way, but there's too many that are. And the good ones, quote unquote good ones, are standing by watching it go down. So you're guilty by association. And let's not play no games with that, because I carried a gun. 3 years I enforced the legal policies of the federal government in every Social Security and IRS office in New York City. And I carried a gun. And when I wasn't doing that, I had 17 years in the National Guard, protecting the American people, practicing being ready. See? Well, carrying a gun, if you're righteous and your spirit is right, you don't think nothing of it. But if you are a demented, warped, mutate, you enjoy killing. And decent, good people can't even understand that mindset. They don't even believe it's real. It's so demented. But that's what happens to people that are imbalanced. And these mutates are imbalanced. And I also worked for 3 years in the mental hygiene institution with mentally ill people. See, my background, I don't even remember to tell you all these things. But because of my experience in dealing with mentally ill people, I know how it is. You can't play with these folks. The flesh vehicle is running everything. And they will kill you. And not think nothing of it. You got to understand that. So you got to understand that. And don't play when you dealing with these people, because they will not play with you. The forces that are governing and in charge of what they do is not rational, it's not logical, and they don't care. See, it's not that I don't care, but I care enough to realize that the spirit that is riding in that vehicle is trapped in a vehicle that they have allowed or were born that was so imbalanced and so off. And why they were born into that vehicle, well, that's a whole subject of a whole nother video. But the reality is, they're a danger to all the people that you love and you care about and have worked to build decent lives. And if you come across them, you better be ready to do what you got to do. Me personally, take off a head and sleep like a baby, because I totally understand what I just saved. Not only did I save my own people, but I saved that spirit that was trapped in that prison. and needed a fresh start. If they cross you the wrong way, take them out. And then go on to bed and get you a good night's sleep. Don't worry about it. That's how this go. You just made the world better. You took one of them filthy things out. Like that thing they got in DC right now. Corrupt to the core. And corrupts everything standing near him and around him. Warped, demented, mentally ill, filled with hatred and confusion and weirdo thoughts. You got to protect your people from that. You got to protect the society from that. In that case, you have to vote them out and let the law enforcement agencies on the state level get him. Because right now he's even corrupted the Justice Department that used to actually do its job. Now you got a corrupt dude in there who is corrupt and demented and will look you calmly in your eye and lie. And manufacturally corrupt everything he touches. Don't care about you. Don't care about righteousness. Don't care about law and order. Don't care. The caring is up to you. Getting to work, taking care of business, protecting this society and making it better is up to you. You start with self. Know thyself. And from there, you can use the power and authority that was given you with through the law of attraction to manipulate everything in this existence. And there's another component that has to do with investing and manipulation of money and consolidation of money and savings and investing in the stock market and things like that to make passive income. And this whole commerce side of this existence must be mastered. That other component, that's the base of everything that you do, you have to have an economic base, and that's another video we're going to talk about. Must be mastered. And it's not one or the other or one before the unlimited being, unlimited ability to multitask. All of these things have to be happening at the same time. There's no one or the other. We ain't going down that road. We ain't falling for that either. That kabuki doll is not gonna work. I'm gonna expose that too. Okay? We're gonna get this done. We're gonna get this done. Why? Because it's time to get it done. How do I know that? Because I realize it's time. See, you gotta understand. I define when it's time. I don't need nobody's permission when it's time. I decide it's time. It's time. And I'm gonna get it done. See, when Elon Musk, this is why I respect this beautiful man. He's not asking for permission for them to let him do what he's doing. He's gonna do it. You know what empowers him? The spirit that was in him that endowed him with the intelligence to do what he's doing. Why is he doing it now? Because it's time. He's not asking for permission. He gonna do what he gotta do. And that's what I'm telling y'all. You gotta find what your purpose is and get in there and kick ass and take names. Don't ask for no damn permission. This ain't about no permission. This is about doing the will of God. Evolution. Moving this whole society to a better, more decent level. Okay, family? And this is all about love. Don't be confused. This is not about ego. This is not about some angry being. It's not about that. Don't confuse passion. Don't confuse enthusiasm with anger No, no. I'm coming purely from love and a balanced mindset and an understanding of balance. There's time to use force and there's time to give in and let go. See, when you're doing your meditation, it's going to be time to give in and let go and sit back and just watch so that you can feel yourself identifying as the watcher. And as you begin to identify as the watcher, you will clearly see that you are not your thoughts. You are not the mind. You are not the body. You are the watcher, the spirit, the unlimited, endless, never dying spirit that ride and resides within. To know truth is to live truth. To know truth is to live truth. To know truth is to live truth. And function out of love. Do everything you do out of love and enthusiasm to make this a better world. And enjoy the ride. Have fun. Don't take things too seriously. You know, I bounce between seriousness and brevity and happiness and joy and joking and jocular character and jocular behavior. When we studied with Dr. Jeffries up at City College, when I would go to, because I'd do anything to spend time with Dr. Jeffries, that he was just to me the most enjoyable, brilliant person that I've ever met. Not ever. I met a lot of joyful, beautiful people. I don't want to put one over the other, but to be around Dr. Leonard Jeffries is just cannot explain it. And if you haven't done it, I feel sorry. You missed out. But the good news is you can go to YouTube on Philip Matthews' show and you can see Dr. Jeffries, and he's wearing the same dashikis and hat and crown. He is that spirit, that warm, loving, compassionate spirit that helps me to, you know, stay focused and have that kind of critical thinking mindset that I have developed over the years, that he has taught me to think critically and be comprehensive in your knowledge and your use of knowledge in everything that you create and all the information that you pass on to the next generation. Be as creative as possible, as positive as possible, and use humor to teach lessons. And that's what I do in actuality when I am actually teaching. And you will see that in these videos as well. Okay? Much love, one love family, and I'll see you in the next video.